Ready? Welcome to He Vibes, She Dives. We are your hosts.
I'm Timber.
And I'm Lady Drasmin. And on this podcast, we talk spirituality, higher magic, and anchoring the new Now Earth timeline. So every 3 weeks, we pull a new topic from our wonderful bowl here, and we share a pot of sacred cacao. We're working with Mayan cacao right now. And then we're going to free flow and see what comes through. And then the following week, you'll hear from Timber, his unique insights and perspectives. And the following week, you'll hear from me. So, excited? Curious?
Here we go.
All right. Well, I will serve you.
Oh, gratitude. Thanks.
It's freaking hot. You see the steam rising.
Woo.
So we'll let that cool.
Yeah, well, we're going to cheers in a little bit. Mm-hmm. We normally cheers right away.
Right. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning back in. If you are new, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so glad to have you here. If you are returning, welcome back. For all of you who have been engaging, liking, sharing, commenting, it means so much to us. It really helps feed the algorithm. So thank you for helping us grow. And without further ado, let's find out.
Okay. Is it my turn or your turn?
It is your turn.
Oh, hell. All right.
Ooh, we got a jumper, people.
I almost wonder if that's one we should have just...
May the force be with you.
You know, sometimes I wish we could do a do-over some things. You want to do a do-over?
It's always interesting. The topic that feels most tender is what seems to come up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How you feel about this?
It feels like that's what we're being asked. Do you feel full body yes?
I feel tender, yeah.
Yeah, then that's where we're meant to be.
Here we go.
Okay.
Would you like to read it?
So the topic is honoring the god, goddess in our partners. And I believe a few weeks ago we had a podcast around connecting with the goddess energy. You talked a little bit therein about you don't really connect with the god energy. But now... Oh, divine man, we're going to have to talk about it.
Yeah, seriously.
So,
here we go.
Honoring the god, goddess in our partnership. That is still really warm.
Yeah, well.
We're just going to wait that.
It wants to sit and be in its essence, apparently, for a little bit.
We're just going to open that, let it cool a bit.
Nice.
Who needs fingertips? So, take us into this topic. Since you're in a partnership right now and I'm not.
True that. Well... where to begin? Like, it's interesting because, well, especially in our realm, because, obviously we're talking to people that understand and we have these conversations. For the most people, it's just like it's Christian or religious, and it's very simplified in a sense. Mm-hmm. They have that one. We're like us, we're like, oh yeah, I'm working with Aphrodite and Venus on this, and I'm working with this, and I'm working with this, mm-hmm. and this being. So it's very fascinating, but like, I would just like to start with, like, when I'm with my partners, I always take time to honor the goddess in them all the time. Mm-hmm. My partners know I have a habit of putting my hand on their hearts and just respect mm-hmm. and love and honoring. And whether it's like we're dressed or not, Mm-hmm. And so, like, with the goddesses, I have my own, like, if it's like, I have my own practices, whether it's in the bedroom or whether it's not outside of the bedroom, and just day-to-day real life. Mm-hmm. And I just learned to just, like, for me, it's just like you treat, how do I put this in words? It's just, I think it really comes down to just really, truly just honoring and respecting all aspects of our partners, mm-hmm. the divine. Mm-hmm. I know they love to use the word divine. Mm-hmm. Divine everything. Divine everything. but in reality, it's just like it's honoring the power within my partner and having that respect mm-hmm. and seeing it mm-hmm. consciously mm-hmm. and honoring it and reminding them that I see that in you.
So other than placing a hand on heart, what other like day-to-day life practices do you tap into for that?
Well, I know within my own mind and heart, I work with my own spiritual team to help me to work through whatever I need to show up. Or, because as we both know in partnership, you're going to have your good days, you're going to have your bad days. And sometimes that goes within 20 seconds, intervals all day long, it feels like. So it's just a matter of like me trying to find that grace and that acknowledgement. So it's like by doing clearing my own shit allows me to have space for my partner. So I can hold space for them easier. You know what I mean? Without getting my own shit in the way too. I'm doing my best I can because I'm not perfect. Far from it. But, I'm just doing the best I can. It's also like if they have kids, it's honoring the fact that they're a mom and they have that life and the respect with the kids and showing up in a respectful, passionate way, So, that could be considered. That's usually just kindness. But at the same time, it's also like, I see it. So I treat it differently. And I don't know as many people that like really see the God and the goddess within beings, people. You know what I mean? Aspects of it. So when those of us that do, and we're like, oh, and we have respect and we acknowledge it. We're like, I see you. Thank you. You know what I mean? So some of it's like, it's all in my own mind, most of it. But I also like do the hands-on and like I show up in ways that honors the goddess as well. It's like always being there when they need like, I never date women that aren't very powerful. So I'm always with I don't need your help. I don't need anything. But at the same time, they're grateful when I'm like, here's a towel for you when they get out of the shower. Or I did this, or, you just do things to help them out. And it's a respect thing.
Take care of your own bullshit and show up without being asked.
Yeah.
Those are some good key points to start with. I can accept that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can only show up to another to the depths that we show up for ourselves.
Yeah.
We can only show love and respect and care to the depths that we show love, care, and respect to ourselves.
Agreed.
So I'm really glad you brought in that piece about honoring self before we can even show up for another, because I feel like that's a core piece in partnership that's missing. It's, I hear a lot, oh, my other half. And that to me is like a huge ding, 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 red flag, not good. It's like you got to show up in your wholeness. And if you're not there, that's okay, but acknowledge that and work on that, either by yourself or work together, which could work or could not, depending on the persons.
That is truth. I am curious your perspective on this.
It's really interesting that we have this topic right now, as I recently exited a small courtship that I was in. And for me, the first thought that came through when I read that was letting them go. The way I've shown, at least my way of showing honor and respect to the God, goddess that I see in a partner is by having the courage to walk away when I see that they may be a king, just not my king. They may be a queen, just not my queen. They may have potential, yet that is not present reality. And I personally cannot share my sexual energy who is not actively standing in their truth and their power because of the way I choose to carry myself in my life and the responsibility that I choose to have for my power. However, when I am in partnership, I really strive to be 100% transparent and honest about where I'm at and create spaces for connection, create spaces for communication, create spaces for soul growth. I have my own legacy, my own business, Drasmin Dreamworks. So in the past, I've opened seats for co-leadership for partners when I see that there is a role that they might fit into. I know I've talked in previous podcasts about my ABC check-in, which is a really powerful communication tool. And that container of communication that I've created, when it is used consistently, has the power to really amplify or separate partners. Because then we start looking at core values and priorities. And if they're not syncing up, then you're constantly dragging each other down. One person's here, and you just meet at the end of the day. For me, partnership is about creating life together. And too often in this world, I see partners who are living alongside each other, but not building life together. So for me, honoring God, Goddess, I do that not just in partnership, but in all my relations, where I see that you are divine and I see your potential. And I also honor the human and where you are in the now. But I'm not willing to accept where you are now because I see your power and where you could be.
Right.
However, I'm willing to cultivate patience and work with you and walk alongside you to a degree. But there has to be a level similar to what you said of owning our own power and taking action towards that.
Yeah. Yeah, because what good are we to somebody else if we're not good to ourselves?
Right.
Wow. Thank you. Ooh, look, fingertips.
I know, right?
Oh, wow, that's new.
Yay. It's really good. That cardamom in there is nice and rich.
Yeah, it is. Wow. That's delicious. Well, and the other thing too is like, especially in partnerships these days, it's interesting because we grew up in a different generation. And like these days I see so much of like people breaking up over like the smallest things. They're like, oh my God, you brush your hair like that? I can't do this.
You have pineapple on your pizza? We're done.
Yeah. And you're like, wow. Like, but it fascinates me because it's just, I don't know, everyone's just so like, I think we're just in a different place where people want things so fast. They don't want to do the work or have the patience. You know what I mean? They're like you said, pineapple on pizza, swipe left or swipe or whatever it is. In their minds, they're already like, oh, I'll date someone else.
Judgments.
Like, But when you work with the gods and the goddesses and yourself, you dissect yourself. And so you naturally, naturally, you would have more compassion to hold space for your partner because you're like, you expand your own spectrum and you do your own shit. So it makes it a lot easier to coexist with someone. You know what I mean? And I know this like you and me, we don't sit with decisions lightly. We've had our conversations, and you and me are both known for like, we'll go deep in our thoughts and just be like, we'll dissect the shit out of it. Because we want to make sure that are we speaking from old traumas? Are we speaking from this? Or where's the truth? Where's these things coming from? And so like with you and me, I can't say I don't want to speak for you, but like for myself, it's like I will work with like, sometimes I'm like, Venus, can you help me make some sense of this shit? Because I need some perspective. And I can instantly feel her right there. And then like I can start to see or like
I can feel her here right now.
Yeah, she's very much here. So, but it's like all of a sudden you'll hear a song and the lyrics are just exactly what you need to hear or something like that. And you're like, oh, thank you. That's it.
Yeah, I believe in a previous episode we were talking about magic, right? And that's that experience of like you just call out for support and it shows up. It's like magic. You can feel it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's so important to note here that, seeing the god, goddess is not just about seeing how awesome they are, how cool, how sexy, how ripped, how, all the good, insert good thing here. It's also about seeing that there's rage there. There's primal power there, right? When we talk about god, goddess energy, we are talking about the full spectrum of, for lack of the trite word, divinity that includes the death and the decomposition and the rebirth. And I feel like that's the aspect that could create a separation of thought, shall we say, a refusal to see the god, goddess in another. Because it's easy to look at the good. Who doesn't want to look at juicy Venus?
Dude, seriously.
Right? Like, hello, voluptuous, sexy goddess who pours love and money on me. Yes, please. However, the darker side of that, I can't think of an equal to her, but I'm thinking of Kali, who is grossly misunderstood. She's seen as destruction when actually she's really not. She's purification. She's purification of inertia. She's purification of what is diseased, what is old. She is an aspect of the feminine, but this aspect also exists in the masculine where enough is enough. Cut the shit. Right? And so I feel like that darker side of the god, goddess energy is what creates dissociation to just see human and stay superficial rather than go into the depths.
That is true. That is very true. Yeah, because you can't truly love someone if you can't accept their dark as well as their light.
But then again, how can you know another person's dark if they're not willing to show up and share that?
That is true.
Right? Again, that ties into what you said of being willing to do our work. And that's, we are all in the human experience together. So we all have shadows that we work with. I'm very vocal about the shadow of rage that I've worked with my entire life. And as I grew older and I studied nutrition and learned about body types and the satsang diet and the Ayurvedic diet, I realized like my genetic makeup is literally hardwired to express in rage when it's in imbalance. So that gave me a measure of peace. I'm like, oh, it's not just like my fucking mind, it's also my physiology over here. But there is something to consider in that this god, goddess energy is not just a spiritual, metaphysical thing. It's an actual visceral experience. It's in our DNA and in our biology.
Well, I like that. You said that. Gratitude. Thank you. Yeah, it's a good thing to express as well.
I mean, I'm sure you as a man have experienced that God energy within you when you can, haul 700 pounds of rice over your head. You're like, raw, adrenaline, power, just like courses through you, right?
Yeah.
And you felt an equivalent amount of energy in a different form in rage and heartache, heartbreak and loss.
Yeah. Yeah.
And felt the power of destruction. And I feel like that's why a lot of people don't like these concepts of God, goddess, because then they tap in not only to their possibility of creation, but their possibility of destruction, because it's two sides of the same coin.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't like to look at the dark within naturally. I mean, who does? Like, who wants to be like, oh, I'm being fucking selfish today, or I'm actually being an asshole today. I need to go give myself a timeout, or you know what I mean? Or like, oh, I see you, jealousy monster. I see you. But it's like, yeah, not as many people want to just embrace that.
So I'm curious how you honor the God within yourself that allows you to naturally embody a frequency that allows a goddess to soften in your presence.
Safety. Biggest thing is safety. Because like for me personally, like my dad was a good man when he was sober. But I also saw what he did to my mom, how he hurt her, how he hurt me. So like I have a whole line of all the things of what they call toxic masculinity, or what it means to, we were taught to be a man, versus like the reality of things. You know, so it's like I've spent most of my life trying to undo how I was taught and raised. So that's been helping me work with the God within to be like, I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just trying to be a better version of myself. And by doing so, and knowing how to hold space, knowing how to have compassion, not to just to react all the time, and to just show up for someone else
consistently.
Thank you. You know, like that shows more than a lot of things. And so like by me doing my work, I'm just trying to be I'm trying to help my other brothers that have gone through the similar thing to be like, just because we were raised this way and we went through those traumas doesn't mean we need to keep passing it on. How do we change that? You know? And I've been with a lot of partners where men have done horrible things. And so I'm very conscious of that. And so when I'm around, especially like my partners, I'm very conscious about like how I'm speaking, how I'm holding space, how I'm even touching. I'm not trying to overpower. I'm not trying to be forceful. I'm not trying, you know, it's just like, I'm consciously always trying to make sure I don't turn into my dad. And but I've had to reach outside of myself to call in those aspects of the God energy that is of the light and the love, but also the dark, but so I can know how to manage both extremes. You know what I mean? I mean, Odin's with me all the time. I feel Odin a lot, and Zeus and Thor and like a lot of them. So it's like, so I have like these big, powerful gods, you know, but at the same time, it's like they help me hold my energy and my frequency so that when I'm in public, people are like, he's warrior. You tell he's a fucking warrior. But at the same time, I also have I try to have a presence where I feel safe so that they can feel safe around me. They're not like, oh, that's one of those men. You know what I mean? And with my partners, they know it on a whole different level. But like, you know, on the streets or in public, you know, I still try to have that respect and that compassion. You know, I feel like I'm more of a protector than I am a leader or anything else. I feel like I'm always constantly just trying to make sure things are safe, especially, you know what I mean?
Thank you. I love that you brought in the pieces of safety and consistency, because that is definitely that. Women can feel, I mean, all beings, right? But especially women and beings, regardless of gender, who have experienced trauma, they can feel when they're in the presence of a safe person. I totally hear you on that piece of being the safe person that you never received. And it is also the drive and the impetus behind a lot of the work that I do today. And the highest compliment that I receive is, and I've received this often, and it's not meant to be a compliment, but I take it as a compliment, is like, I feel so safe in your presence. And that to me speaks to the work I have done within myself, to the depths I have seen myself and continue to choose to see myself, that naturally creates that space. And I feel like you and I, we mirror each other greatly in that way of embodying our divinity in such a way that humanity doesn't fear it.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's consistency. And not just for ourselves, but also for our partner. I mean, it's the number one killer of relationships when people aren't consistently showing up and tending to each other. Yeah,
especially when like the honeymoon phase ends and it's like, you were so awesome to me before. Why did that stop? Like, why did it have to stop?
Right, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And granted, life gets in the way and it gets busy, but that's still not an excuse. It's still, there's always ways.
I mean, often in the beginning of a relationship, of a courtship, there's a period of intensity. But again, there's a fine line of, going too far into the relationship where everything else falls apart. That's a danger zone as well, right?
Mhm.
There is such a thing as too much and not enough.
It's true,
Mm-hmm.
and like with me, I don't know about you, but like me, I'm 46. So like, I don't want to waste anyone's time. I don't want to waste my time. So like, if I'm dating someone, I'm like, here's my shit, good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you can't handle all aspects of who I am, then this isn't going to work. I honor you, you honor me. Let's call it a day, or let's figure out how to, like you said, build a life together. Then,
it's really attractive and powerful to see masculines step in that way, because a masculine you, and I see more and more men today. But that's been a challenge that I have found for myself, and the women that I tend to in Temple also struggle with is like, he just won't talk to me. He just wants to party and have fun and have a good time. And I'm in my late 30s. I'm like, I don't have time to sit around and just drink wine every night and talk about how good life is. Like, I need to go deep with you. Like you said, there's a point in life where we reach where I ain't got time to fuck around and find out.
yeah, you're like, let's get this moving.
And your point? I'm trying. No, you're not trying. You're just saying that you're trying, but you're not actually doing anything. You just keep saying, I'm trying.
Yeah. And, and I feel like you can relate to this, but I've been told for a long time that I'm too much.
Mm-hmm.
I give too much. My energy's too much. I'm too much.
Mm-hmm.
But I always tell my partners, like, no matter what, if you ask me something, I will always answer. I may not be able to answer right then and there. And I might be like, can I sit with this for a moment to gather my words? Or they will literally watch me stumble through my mind trying to find words to express. But I will always do that, because that's the point, like, of communication. It's not supposed to be comfortable, But it's fascinating because as in our society, especially in America, we're not taught how to find words for our feelings. And how to share it with another person, and being so vulnerable and raw, and just being like, so this is what's going on. This is what's showing up. This is what I'm going through.
Yeah, there's a big difference between this is the experience and I feel blank versus you did blank to me.
Yeah, I feel statements are huge.
I feel statements are huge. I statements are huge.
And I hear.
And you. I hear you. And again, like, even with those affirmative I statements, if someone hasn't done the work that needs to be done, because we are currently in a society that doesn't cultivate emotional intelligence, hence Drasmin DreamWorks, then they will not hear it well. Oh, you're blaming me. Or you're manipulative. Or you're always throwing shit in my face. Like, people will not be able to hear what you're saying if they're not doing the work. So there's, again, that measure of awareness that comes in around, are you seeing the God, goddess within you? And are you seeing the God, goddess in another when they are pointing out things that trigger you?
Especially then.
Like, I may be showing up as wrathful. Can you still see the divine in me? And hear the goddess that is coming through me?
Yeah.
And not project your human, egotistical, insecure bullshit onto me because you're not able to hear me, or you're not willing to, or sometimes both.
Yeah. Like, for me, like, I was told my whole life, I'm not good enough. I'm never good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. I'm never enough. So like, my defense is I get defensive real quick. So sometimes if I'm being called out, sometimes my first reaction is anger and defensiveness. You know what I mean? Like, I'll never lay hands on someone, but I'm like, I get irritated, and I'm just like, and my energy shifts. And I'm like, because I'm tired of trying to stand up for myself all the time. Or it's like, is all I hear in my mind, in my trauma brain, all I hear is, it's one more thing I'm not good enough at. It's one more thing on the fucking list I need to figure out. You know what I mean?
I do.
I'm like, why can't I just be a human sometimes? Like, I'm a hot mess. Can we just embrace this for a little bit?
And then there's that other thing, right? Like there's that shadow side of embracing the God, goddess within ourselves. You know, we come into this state of embodiment and holding ourselves so well that people forget we're still fucking human underneath it all. Like, yeah, I'm doing a great job for the most part at this life game. And I'm in a partnership that serves me well. I got a business that's running well, you know, I got community, blah, blah, blah. But I'm still a human.
You know?
I still have off days. I still want to be taken care of every once in a while, you know, and that's definitely something that I have found more and more as I expand in leadership and as Drasmin DreamWorks grows and becomes a more globally known name is, and I even had a conversation with someone a few days ago, and I was expressing some emotion, and they're like, "Wow, I had no idea you felt that way because you just seem like you're on top of it all the time."
You're like, I am. Is you twitching?
I know, exactly. That's exactly how I felt in that moment. Just like, I literally had to like turn around and look at them like, still human. Still human, yo.
You're like, I haven't slept in 7 years. Come
I
on,
know,
let's be
right?
real.
Exactly. Like, do you see these bags? No, because I did my cucumber mask today. But, you know, 2 hours ago, all puff and swollen and just like, what's going on over here? Raccoon died or something? So, you know, there is that shadow aspect of as we continue to cultivate and embody our own God, goddess essence, there's almost like an expectation that happens from those around us to be infallible. And that's dangerous because, again, that's pedestalizing.
Yeah, when people see the power in someone, I agree. Yeah, and it's like they have a hard time seeing that person not be that strong version.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, when I was younger, I used to take like, wow, you're so strong as a compliment. Now I don't take it as a compliment. I'm like, I don't want to be strong, but I don't exactly have a choice.
Right? Yeah.
It's not a compliment when someone says, oh, you're so strong, or you're so resilient. Like, thank you. But where's your strength and your resilience?
Yeah. It's true. And it's like, as far as like on the as far as like the masculine side, it's fascinating because when I had to have my toe amputated, my ex had to take care of me. I couldn't even bathe myself. And I've never in my life experienced that level of humbleness. And just being like, I had to let go and receive. And just, so it's like, it's interesting. It's like, even though people are like, again, like you said, that you're like a big, strong Viking looking dude, but like, but like when I'm in a stand-up shower and sitting in my own filth because I can't even barely lift myself up to wash myself with one hand, just fucking crying and losing my shit about feeling broken and all the things, while I have a partner who's in her goddess that is holding and just being like, you got this. I'm here. You know what I mean?
I do.
That's a whole nother level of like assistance with each other. It's like, to me, that is true strength. When you can break down and authentically express that, and then to receive the holding. You personally have held me in ceremony where I'm just sitting on the ground in my cacao crying because I realize I'm so out of touch with my own physical sensuality that I couldn't even like tap into. I couldn't even touch myself lovingly. And I was like losing my shit of like, oh my God, I am that far off. And you came and supported me, but it's like, but again, it's that being willing to be seen and express it. And the second part is to receive it. You know what I mean? To me, that's true strength. And in partnerships, I think that's one of the biggest ingredients to keep a relationship together is when both partners can do that with each other.
And also, like, I want to add in there, I love that you brought that in, right? Because yes, I also agree that true strength is the tenderness, right? But I also want to add in there has to be a willingness to trust that the other person has got you. And in my most recent partnership that dissolved, that was one of the key pieces that ultimately was a breaking point. Was they saw my life and all the responsibilities that I hold, and their excuse for not communicating certain things with me was, you have a lot going on, so I didn't think you had space for me. And to me, that was like both a reflection point, which I'm grateful for. I'm like, okay, how am I showing up that's creating this illusion that there's no space for this other person? And is this even a true fact? But more importantly, it helped me realize that it's so important to cultivate quality time with your partners and the importance of sticking to that consistently. Like whether it's date night, whether it's time to pack and unprocess things, which is where that ABC check-in comes from me. And ultimately I realized like I had created a lot of opportunities and space for this being to come and communicate it. And it was their own stuff that wasn't allowing them to. But there has to be that piece of awareness that I'm inviting into of like, yes, there is that being willing to be seen, but also trusting that someone else has got you, that both play into the action of putting the vulnerability out on the table.
Yeah. And that's really hard for me personally, because unfortunately, society has made it to where
men don't cry.
Well, that and women don't trust men. And I don't blame them. I honestly don't blame them. I feel like me and my brothers need to step up in a whole new way. But that's also learning how to undo. That's a whole nother topic. But the thing is
but it is part of the topic because it's about honoring the goddess, and that's taking responsibility for the shit. And that's not saying like I'm responsible for what he, she, they did. I am going to take responsibility by not being silent.
And I also when I do put my hand on the heart, whether I have two practices with that. One where like it's the day-to-day normal and I'm just expressing love and gratitude. And the other is in bed. And I literally put my forehead on their bush and my hand on their heart. And I just send them love from the masculine as a thank you. And it sounds stupid, but I almost feel like a lot of times I'm just trying to also send healing for all the brothers before me that have done them wrong. Because I can't change it. It's not my fault. I didn't do it. You know what I mean? But I'm also trying to be the difference, the change. So, and by doing that, it's just like, it almost reminds me of, I can't remember the Hawaiian word, but the
Ho'oponopono.
Thank you. And it's almost like that kind of perspective, you know? It's just like, I'll take on the shit that men have done to my partners. And I'm like, I'm not that man, but I will love and honor and respect the fuck out of you. You know what I mean? It's like almost trying to like, you can't undo anything, but you can also alchemize it and shift it and start planting those new energetic seeds. So then, you know, I've had a lot of ex-partners thank me because they're like, I didn't realize there were men out there like you in real life. You give me hope. And it also changes it because then I watch them as they date after that. It's totally different, the men that they choose to date. And it's not just me. I'm not responsible for that. All I'm saying is it's like,
you're a catalyst for a different sight.
Yeah. And it's just a matter of us showing up with heart and love and compassion. You know what I mean? And not being the story.
Don't be the story, people.
Don't be the story.
Don't be the same old story. Be something new and exciting, but normalize that it's safe to feel our feelings and to let our partners see that. And it's not only safe, it's fucking vital. Not just for each other, but for the children.
Yeah.
For them to see that it's normal to express love and romance and play, but to also see tears and take your rage elsewhere. But like to see that you have emotions and you're expressing them in a healthy way.
Yeah. And do your best not to shame your partner for what they're feeling and what they're going through. Like, oh my God, are you crying right now? Really? Like, what the fuck? Why would you say that to somebody?
Yeah, or even like, oh, you're so sensitive.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Yeah.
And the women are just naturally like, our mood changes all the time. Like a day is not the same. We're constantly going through fluxes and ebbs and webs through the day. So there's that aspect of the goddess energy, right? It's like men are literally built with testosterone. And they have peaks during the day, and then that dwindles by the end of the day. They're solar beings. Women are lunar beings. They have progesterone, estrogen, follicular stimulating hormone. You know, they have these hormones that go in and out depending on the different phases of where they're at in their cycle. Even women who are postmenopausal, I can't speak too much to this, but as I don't have experience in this body, but they still have those receptors within them even after they stop their bleed. So it's like honoring the goddess is recognizing that, very much like the moon, sometimes she's full on present and sometimes she's not, but she's still fucking there.
Yeah.
And there is a responsibility that the masculine has, I feel, that to show up in that way that is needed for her. Not just in his like 365 days a year the same way and expecting the woman to show up in the same way.
Exactly. Because we're never the same human being.
And
we're always shifting and changing. So it's just like, I remember learning about that in couples therapy years ago in marriage counseling and being reminded and being told about that. And I was like, I had never thought about that. Like, because, you know, especially when you're with someone for a long time, our minds are like, well, so-and-so did it this way for 10 years. And now all of a sudden they're not. And so you're still reacting the same way as you would because you're programmed, even though they're trying to shift.
Right.
And you have to shift with them.
And you can't just project a previous relationship onto a new one just because they're the same sex.
That too. Like,
they're completely different people. And it's like, do I really need to point out the obvious here? I mean, this reminds me of an experience I had a few years ago where I was in a celibate phase of life and I met someone and invited them to have a snuggle overnight. And we'd been communicating for like 2.5 weeks. And I woke up in the middle of the night and they were trying to enter me. And I'm like, excuse me, what are you doing? They're like, oh, my previous partners were totally okay with that. I'm like, first of all, we're not in a partnership. Second of all, get out of my house. I threw him out.
He seriously did that?
There's men out there who think it's perfectly okay to wake a woman up like that in sleep. I mean, I have been violated in my sleep before, and that's why I was like already aware and I was able to wake up and get out of that situation. But it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, you get into a partnership, you don't face your shit, you end the partnership, and then you get into another partnership thinking it's going to be different because it's a new person, but you're still the same person. So things aren't going to change. The cycle is going to repeat itself until you clear out whatever delusion, conditioning, programming, unresolved trauma, whatever imbalance might be in the body, in the mind, in the heart. Again, that consistently showing up piece.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, because you and me both have gone through and witnessed many people that, like, you get to certain levels and you're like, a realization pops up or a trauma that you didn't even realize you had. And it all of a sudden it's crystal clear and you're like, what? And you change your mindset and you do your work around that. And then even the friendships you have start to shift differently. Because, yeah. It's fascinating.
And, you know, I say this often in my sessions and clients, and I'll say it here, the nervous system will gravitate towards a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven because it's literally just what it knows. Just because it's familiar doesn't mean it's safe.
Agreed.
Just because it's known doesn't mean that it's healthy.
Right? Yeah. And it makes my heart sad when people, especially my sisters out there, they stay in things because they're just like, well, I'm a single mom. Otherwise, and I don't have the money to support myself. So I will stay in this abusive relationship because, like that hurts my heart, and I hear it all the time. But it's like you said, that familiar hell, because you're like, well, I need to survive. I need to, you go into the 3D, very much so.
Yeah, that makes me think of an experience that I had several years ago. A woman, it was around the time when I just started creating the ABC check-in. And there was this woman who I connected with online, never met her in person, and we were just talking a lot. And she was talking about all her troubles with her marriage, how she was really striving to lose weight and get healthy and go to the gym. And her husband would come home with pizza and soda and sit on the couch and just watch TV and not take care of the house or the family or anything. So I gave her the ABC check-in to communicate with this man. And a few weeks later, she's like, we're getting divorced and it's all your fault. And she completely cut me out of her life. And I was like,
you're like, you're welcome.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought in the moment. I was like, you're welcome, I guess. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But it's like that piece of recognizing that you're probably going to have to make some decisions that are going to make you be very emotional, perhaps for months, if not years, and not wanting to face that. The fear of that responsibility, that unwillingness, that inertia is what keeps you from tapping into your own goddess power. Because once you tap into that, then you learn about your boundaries. You learn how to stand within them. You learn to stand within integrity. I mean, I'm a woman who's in my late 30s who doesn't have a partner. And then, I have days where I'm just like, why is everyone in my life in partnership and I'm not, And then I think about the choices I have made to honor the goddess within the partners that have come into my life. And I see that they have, well, some of them, not all of them, but most of them have stepped into their level of authority and found partners. So it's a double-edged sword.
Agreed.
It's a double-edged sword.
I know what you're saying all too well. That's how I've always felt. I'm always like, I feel like I show up, I have a moment, and then things go sideways for me, but they flourish.
Right.
And you're like, what the hell?
Right, yeah.
But at the same time, it's just like you said, we also have that perspectives and the wisdom to stand back and just be like, well, I see why that happened. Maybe not at the moment.
Maybe not in the moment. Usually not in the moment.
No, but like later on, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we were able to have that connection, that dance together at that time.
Yeah. And, that piece that you were mentioning earlier about too much, I definitely felt a little tenderness within me when you said that. I was like, how many times have I heard that in my life, that I'm too much? And I have finally, thankfully, arrived at a place where I'm able to say, I'm not going to apologize to you for having vision.
Yeah. What's that old phrase? If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen.
Right. Yeah, there's another one that's like, if I'm too much, go find less. But I don't like using that one because that's just so...
but I get it, though.
That's so... it's not very loving.
No, but I get it.
Yeah,
like,
but
I understand why that has been created. You're like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like,
right. Like, the world is hurting and in need of help. And I have a power and an ability within me to do something about it. How can you tell me that there is any other option when this is literally the only path for me to fully embrace the goddess within me, the divine that I am in human form, and encourage and empower others to do the same?
Yeah, because to me, it seems like right now you went from human partnership to partnership with everything.
Right. Yeah.
So you have a different partnership now.
I do. I mean, after I took my vows to be of service to the utmost high, it is not possible for me to be in partnerships that don't honor that. I mean, I've had many beautiful men come into my life, and on any other timeline, it would have been great, fantastic.
However,
I have committed my life to more than myself. And so there's that piece as well, right? Like you can honor the god, goddess and have your, for lack of a better word, mediocre life, but it doesn't have to be mediocre, right? It could just be just you living in your little family unit and showing up for that. But then there's people like me who are showing up for more than just my little family unit. And there's that, it makes me think of the levels of gods, goddesses, you know, like the higher, and then the demigods, and then the minions and the peons and all that. So I'm not saying that I'm a higher god. I'm simply acknowledging that there is levels of power that we get access to depending on our genetic blueprint, our soul mission, and our willingness to tap into that.
Yes, well said.
Because we all have that raw source energy within us. But not all of us are going to be able to tap into that.
No.
No.
No. That's why there's only been a few masters that have walked this planet.
Exactly, because it demands a refinement of consciousness, which sometimes is a fine-tooth comb that has been dipped in hot coals and acid.
Right.
You have chills, truth chills over
For any of you, like, you don't understand, but this room is full of gods and goddesses at this moment.
Yeah.
Between the two of us. Like, we both are like getting arm chills. Right. We're like, whew.
I mean, I have a painting of the goddess Ma'at there that I channeled before I even read her laws on Google. And then I was like, oh, wow. Okay.
It's amazing.
Transmission just came through over like 47 days.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here, my top of my crown's tingling. I can feel them touch on my shoulder.
I know,
I'm like,
they're just tickled over here. They're like, yes, talk about us. More. They also like their egos fed just a little bit.
But yeah, no, it's fascinating because, you know, I know we said relationships, but it's like, as we both, you know, I think for everyone listening, you know, we have to extend friendships.
I mean, it all ripples. I mean, every good partnership is rooted in friendship. If you can't be friends with your person, then you're missing a core foundation piece. Okay. And I feel like that piece of friendship allows for that softening into vulnerability. Because we are in a weird world right now where we can tell our friends anything, but when it comes to our partners, it's like all of a sudden we have to mince our words. I think that's a little ass backwards, if you ask me.
Agreed. Agreed. You know, and I mean, I understand the fear of, I need to express this to my partner. I know it's not going to be easy. It could potentially end our relationship, but it needs to be said. And that takes a lot of strength and courage to constantly do that over and over and over again.
That's why, yeah.
But when you do that, though, the more you do it, the more easier it does get. And like you said, the more you build that trust, you build that foundation. You know what I mean? I'm grateful for the partner I'm with right now because we're both just like 100% just being like, here's my shit. Like, we're just raw and authentic. And I am so grateful for that. You know, because you don't always come across that. You do, but to certain levels. You know what I mean?
Again, to the level that a person has met themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, science has proven that we really only use like 3% of our brain.
That's so freaking crazy.
I know. There's like a whole tool here, for lack of a better word, that can be tapped into for more efficiency. And I feel that in the same way, our hearts and our spirits are only being tapped into a fraction of the time.
Yeah, because anyone who's experienced like your heart chakra being literally kicked the fuck open, and you're just like a hot fucking mess on the ground, like crying, and you just feel like, I feel everything. You're just like, oh my God. You're like, it's too much.
And that can happen through like witnessing the birth of a child, experiencing a death, going through a plant medicine journey, just some random life experience that cracks you open. I mean, to feel the depths of pain makes you realize that there's so much that has yet to be tapped into. I mean, you have experienced great pain in your life, I know. And I know I have experienced great pain in my life. And I'm sure some of you listening have experienced great pain in your life. And so I would love for you to share into like perhaps an experience of pain that helped you realize your power.
Oh, that's a really good question.
Because like we're talking about God, goddess, right? And we can of course experience that in the presence of beauty. But what about in the presence of pain?
Now, are we talking about in a relationship? Since we're talking about relationships?
What comes to you?
Because I don't want to just use my toe on this one, because that's like, it feels like that's an easy answer.
I know, it's an easy answer, so let's go with something else.
So
I like how your toe starts wiggling.
I don't know what you're talking about. Well, you know, before I moved here to heal from a relationship, and I had never had a partner literally try to break my soul, and she almost fucking did. I have never been that broken from a relationship in my life. Like, there's a whole twin flame thing. It was intense. It was, anyways. So that being said, I was done. You know, and coming here, I came here to heal. And I was told I might find someone here. But again, like you and me were talking about, like, that's the future. That's the unknown. Like, that may or may not happen. Who the fuck knows? But I know healing was going to happen. And so, you know, I spent time and crying and being in the rivers and just healing and just expanding all summer long. So that when I did meet my partner, I am still constantly having to remind myself it's okay to receive love. You know, because like in my mind, I'm like, the woman that I love the most, I was talking marriage with again and being a stepdad and all the things, did what went to like destroy me. And it's like, it's hard for me to go back into the relationships, the world, and just being like, I'm trusting this because I'm not. My walls are fucking up, you know, but I express that. I'm like, and my partner knows exactly why my walls are up. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to hide it. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. You know what I mean? Because how can my other partner know where my heart is and how to assist or hold space or coexist? You know what I mean? So it's like taking the pain and acknowledging and being like, from my perspective now, I'm like, okay, what are the lessons I learned from that? And take those and honor the good times, but let that go. And like you said, be fucking present with who I'm with now and not bring the old in with the new. You know what I mean? So again, it's like, it's constantly like trying to be like, okay, my heart's still a little tender, you know, it's still not fucking fully healed. So it's like the walls are up, I'm guarded, but at the same time, I'm aware of that and trying to doing the work and allowing her to help break my walls down. You know what I mean?
Powerful. Thank you.
But just by her just naturally being authentically herself. That's the beautiful thing. It's not like, oh, so that's what's wrong with you? I'm gonna hug this part of you, or this part of you, and this part of you. Try to heal this. You know, it's not that. It's more like just generally just holding space and allowing what needs to, by consistency. That, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what helps shift it. How about yourself? Since you currently, unfortunately.
It is what it is. What I wanted to share before I answer that is, for those of you who might be skeptical and say, oh, love cannot break a heart. Well, there's plenty of scientific evidence that proves the contrary. There's literal strings in the heart space that connect the muscle fibers that can break if it experiences enough shock. And they also have stories of couples who die within days of each other because they can't function, they can't live. The heart is literally broken. And I've actually experienced that feeling more than once in my life. And I sometimes look back at the multiple experiences I've had, and I had to work on graciously receiving the compliment of "you are so strong," because on one hand, it's like, well, I didn't have a choice. And on the other hand, it's like, fuck yeah, you don't have a clue.
Right.
An experience of pain that I've turned into power. I guess I could talk about the first time that I experienced my heartbreak. And of course, I was so young in the moment that I didn't realize that until I was in my late 20s, over a decade later, processing that experience. But at the age of 11, from a young age, at the age of around 6 or 7, I discovered this Village Doctor book. And ever since I was a child, I wanted to be a neurosurgeon or do something in the medical field. Like, I just thought it was so cool to like tap into someone's brain, like do shit in there that could like either make them walk or not talk for the rest of their lives. I'm like, ha 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 ha, all this power I wanted. So I had this book as a child, and it saved my life. But at the age, and I delivered my first baby when I was 9. I was surrounded by a lot of evil that raped little girls and left them for dead sometimes, and especially orphan girls. And when their babies were found, they were made to disappear. And so I would help a lot of these babies be delivered, and then I would drop them off at different convents, and these girls would disappear, go back to their villages. But I remember at the age of 11, I helped deliver this baby, and it's just so beautiful. I had this baby, and even though that was my third baby I delivered by then, there was something about this child that really got me here. There's something about this baby. And I helped she was 13. I helped a 13-year-old deliver this baby, and I wrapped up this baby. I like helped her deliver in these bushes behind this like old school building. I was in India, so there was a lot of like bushes out in the villages. There were places, so I created this whole nest for her and helped deliver. And I look back, and I just, I know that goddess was with me, because like I look back, I'm like, how did I get away with helping these girls have children and like nobody hearing, right? Like,
Yeah.
when babies are born, they're loud, they're messy, they scream, but somehow. So anyway, I helped deliver this baby, and after she nursed, and I got some formula that I stole from the nurse's station at the school. I dropped her off at the train station, and usually by that point, by day 2, I would take the baby to a convent and drop him off, and the nuns wouldn't ask questions. They knew me because I would often come with requests for suture kits and stitches and things, and they just supported me, so we were in cahoots. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna be with this baby one more day, and then I'll take the baby. So I was there with the child as long as I possibly could, and then I went home super late, and I would come every 5 hours. I would sneak out of the house. And day 3, wow, it's been 25 years, and it still gets me. Day 3, I went, and this baby was so calm and just so sweet. His big brown eyes. I think what got me was their eyes were almost as dark as mine, and it's not very common. And I was looking at this beautiful innocence that came into this world with so much violence and pain and was abandoned by her mother, who was not ready to be a mother. I mean, for fuck's sake, she was a child. And this happened so incredibly fast that, again, it took me years like to process it. But basically what happened is my father somehow found us, and he took this, I was holding this baby, and he took this child, and the baby was swaddled, so like grabbed the child by the feet and just started whipping it around, bashing its head on the ground, killed this baby in front of me.
What?
And my heart literally broke. It was the first time that my heart broke, and I didn't realize that's what happened. But my psychic gifts, my intuitive gifts, my ability to see the unseen worlds completely disappeared in that moment. Like, I was not able to see spirits, and I'm still recovering from that. And then through this bloody mess and just walked out. And years later, I finally, tapped into the root of why I was not able to go really deep in my relationships and other traumas that had come up and that had built up. But that was my first experience of my heart literally breaking to the point where it just completely changed my life. And I was in a state of numb and shock for years. And that led, once I was able to get out of India, to years of horrible drug and alcohol abuse that I had to work through. Because this innocence that was left in and I felt a lot of guilt for years because, I procrastinated on taking this baby to the convent because I just wanted one more day, with this sweet soul. And now, when I finally like tap back into that memory, that pain that I have felt is part of what continues to fuel my vision of Drasmin Dreamworks to build and sustain this legacy that I have, and to bring in investors so that I can create centers for girls and women in India and around the world. But I definitely have a heart to India because that's where half of my lineage is from, to provide spaces for these girls and women to go to so they don't have to experience what I went through, or they can just be supported if they do in a way that's loving, that isn't demeaning of them. So experiences like that, the power, the fuel is still there. And a part of the rage that I constantly work through is the injustice that I have witnessed in this world, and the pain that I have experienced, and the pure evil that exists, even in quote unquote spiritual homes. Because my father was a missionary, but he had this darkness within him that would just take over. And it was like he would just become this completely different person. And of course, in that moment, I was a child, I was 11, and I was like, Daddy had a bad day. Like, I was so disassociated for that. And of course, children always want to look at their father. So it took me a long time to accept that what happened that day was not okay on so many levels. But that's the experience of turning pain into power that felt called to share, which surprises me because it's not, I wasn't even thinking about that. But it was definitely the first time that my heart broke. And the thing about when our hearts break in that way, and I've experienced a couple of different experiences since then where my heart has just been broken and left, is that it does leave a scar. Mm-hmm. That no amount of love, no amount of sweetness, no amount of fill in the blank from any other person can ever fill. And so those are part of those battle wounds that we experience in our life that we have to just be in acknowledgement and in awareness of when we look at the goddess within ourselves, is that level of power has been reached at by some measure of sacrifice. Mm-hmm. And yes, you might see the shiny armor, but there's some cuts and some bruises and some deep scars underneath. And how important it is to acknowledge that with great power comes great responsibility. With great power comes great sacrifice. You are able to be a voice for a lot of the masculine men in today's world because you have chosen to turn the pain that you have experienced into power and use your voice to speak about it. And so that gives you confidence and allows you to continue showing up. So the pain that I've experienced gives me strength to continue showing up on days that I don't want to, because the alternative is that continuing to happen, and I cannot allow that. Just like the alternative for you might be to see women continue to think men are not safe, and you refuse to allow that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my story.
Wow, that was intense. But it's stories like that quickly remind you like how different it is in the other parts of the world versus just the US. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how intense things really can be.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't the first time I'd experienced a dead body, but it was definitely the first time I experienced that. And it just happened so fast, Timber. Like when the memories came, because I was trying to find out like what happened to my psychic gifts, because I used to have all these prophetic dreams and visions, then see spirits and ghosts, and then I know something happened. And then when I finally like worked through the layers and tapped into that memory, I was like, oh, well, that makes fucking sense.
Yeah.
Completely shut me down.
How could it not?
Like my heart just broke and shut down. And so I'm still recovering from that, right? So I feel this like ever-present need to be a voice and to speak about injustice. And that's why I feel that has also fed into this inability to be in relationship with a being who is not speaking up for the injustice in the world by doing their own inner work.
Right.
Because I have experienced depths of evil in humanity that if I allow that kind of partnership within my life, I'm silencing my own voice. Mm-hmm. And I'm doing disjustice. I'm doing a disservice, rather, to those babies that I've buried and to those girls that I've supported and to adults along the way as well. I'm like shaking as I talk about this.
That's intense.
So the pain, the pain and the grief, I feel doesn't go away. We just grow around it. So it seems to shrink, but it really doesn't.
Yeah. And I like that you mentioned the fact that there's the scar in the heart. Mm-hmm. I very much feel like I have a big, multiple scars on my heart. Mm-hmm. But it's just like, it's made us who we are. And with wisdom, I think we're able to see that, But that goes with a lot of the teachings. It's just like, it's the willingness to dissect it and go deeper and try to figure out the whys and where and how we could be a change.
Yeah, be the change. And I'll close this. I'll start closing our talk today. People often ask me, they're like, "Why do you do what you do? Why do you choose the less walked upon path?" I had an interview with a PR agency last week, and they're like, "What drives you?" And like, what I didn't receive, similar to you. What I didn't have. I have power, immense power than me. I recognize I control very little, but I have an immense amount of power. And I'm going to do everything that I can to capitalize on that, to leave something a little bit better than what I came to. Because nobody deserves to experience what I've gone through and what I've experienced other people go through. I mean, I just had a situation last week where, you're talking about single moms, and that's something that's really, really difficult. I mean, I've consciously chosen to not have children until I align with a partner who meets me where I'm at, if not greater. But, raising children is also that sole responsibility to um, help them tap into the God, goddess that they are from a young age without the ego.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
Yeah.
Yes, you are greatness, but you're also human. So shifting away from the heaviness of this energy that we just sat into, what are some, perhaps share like 3 ways that someone can start honoring the God, goddess, or perhaps summarize, the points that you shared and bring 3 core ones to the forefront in summation?
That's a good question. Because I think a lot of it too is who they identify with, because there's so many of them out there. I will say Venus and Aphrodite is a good one, especially when it comes to relationship stuff. In perspective, they're really good as far as like consciously working with them. You know, for me, a lot of it's just been having to get real honest with not only who I am, but what I want and what I won't, what I don't want to experience moving forward. And
pain is such a great teacher for that.
It's like that. So yeah, so I think it's like obviously the old catchphrase, know thyself.
I mirror that 100%.
So like that would definitely be a key component.
I second that.
The other one would be to honestly, if you're in a partnership, be present. And just really be willing to show up in the good and the bad, to step back and see where they're coming from, and allow yourself to even feel their pain, so that you have more compassion, and so you can hold space for them in a greater way. So I know it's more than just one aspect, but that I feel like that'd be a second part of it. And the third, part of me wants to say the support team, having a good support team. But at the same time, I also want to almost go into the personal aspect of like own it and step up, or allow yourself to be loved, allow yourself to be hurt.
Heard or hurt?
Hurt. Definitely heard. Being seen and heard is like fucking amazing. When you actually have a partner that actually sees and hears you, that changes everything. It's a game changer. But yeah, no, just allow her. Because nothing. What's that one phrase? The only constant in the universe is change. So it's just like, we never know what we have, how long we're going to have it. So just have gratitude and show up and just have the experiences and allow yourself to fail and allow yourself to succeed and everything in between.
I love those. Thank you for bringing those. And I'm going to add in the support system, because I also feel that's a really important part of embracing our divinity, is having that support system. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that you're talking about not just spiritual, but physical. It's so important to have our women's or men's circles. It's so important to have our council of elders and friends, companions, allies that we trust. I definitely have a circle of women that I go to for counsel, and I don't know where I would be without my circle of women. Like they hold me when I don't feel strong and when I want to go back into the familiar nervous system hell because it's so nice over here and it's like 99% awesome, but it's that 1%, right? Yeah, it's so important. And it's okay to get therapy. It's okay to get help.
Yes.
It's okay
Yes.
to say I'm not okay and I need some professional help.
I love that you said that.
Because I feel like that's a piece of ownership and responsibility that a lot of people might not tap into because, again, of programming and conditioning or this idea that, oh, I'm in partnership, so I should know my shit. Well, that's not really necessarily always true. And we only grow in the mirror of relating. And I read something the other day that said men don't realize their unresolved trauma until they meet a woman who won't settle for less.
That is very true.
And I was like, yeah, I feel seen. In all honesty, though, I really mirror and second what you said. Know thyself, show up consistently, good or bad, show up consistently, and make time to play.
Play. Wow, yeah, play's huge.
Play's so huge. And stop fucking processing and trauma dumping all the time. Like, that is not healthy, and that does not allow for the heart to heal and grow if you're constantly like processing emotions and feelings and going deep dive every single day. It's like create containers for the different aspects of relationship and don't lose yourself in it.
Yeah. Like as you said when we first started this, to be able to show up as two whole beings, shoulder to shoulder, versus like, oh my God, I can't live without you.
Danger!
Yeah, you're like, yo, whoa.
Exactly.
But which is ironic because that's how we grew up. Like that's in all the movies, that's in all the things. I mean, we still, like, you'll find yourself, I don't know, I find myself, I'll sing to a song from like the 80s or like something.
Then you hear the lyrics, you're like, wait a minute.
I'm like, why am I singing this? Like, damn.
I'm constantly changing lyrics of songs, so I have a good old time with rewriting some of those disempowering, sexist, disempowering lyrics.
I love that.
Well, this has been a truly illuminating conversation. I'm so glad that this topic came through and we worked through the tenderness and showed up in it. Do you have any final thoughts to leave our audience with today?
There's always so much.
Truly, right?
I would just... Yeah, no, it's a beautiful topic, and whatever any of you believe or don't believe, I mean, do your thing. But ultimately, it's just like, just do your best to be a good human.
And for those who might struggle with the God Goddess label, perhaps a reframe of the highest and fullest expression of the masculine and feminine energy that exists within all beings.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many ways to break it down.
So many ways.
Father, Son, Holy Ghost, this, like, it just goes and goes. It's all connected, everyone.
It's all connected.
I'm just saying.
So we would love to hear from you. What was your big takeaway in today's topic? And perhaps we'll address your questions and highlight some of your shares in one of our talks coming up soon.
Yeah, and I'm definitely curious to other perspectives, other guidance that others may have on this subject of connecting or relating.
And honoring that God Goddess within and in partnership.
Yeah, and tips and tricks for everybody else that is curious. Because we're all stronger together than we are apart.
That's the truth.
So let's help each other out. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. Take care of your beautiful selves. You are whole. You are worthy. You are sacred. You are love, and you are loved. Until we meet again, bless.
Gratitude. Thank you.